Live on our website, FM. We're live on our website. You can also watch us live on YouTube, on Facebook and Twitter as well. On Twitter, we are at Nigeria Info FM. On YouTube and Facebook, we are Nigeria Info 99.3. Feel free, you can watch us as well and drop your comment. Our WhatsApp line is 0809 597 5805. That is 0809 597 5805. Welcome to From the Front Pages, where we bring you headlines from the dailies today. I am Sheriff Quadry. Rotimi Sankore is in the studio. Rotimi, good morning to you.
Morning.
Wednesday, isn't it? All right then.
A bit too wet, and I'm not looking forward to the consequential adjustment in the flood.
Consequential adjustment. Okay, nice one. Let's start with our partner, the Guardian newspaper. States owing 4 trillion naira in domestic debts. It's a banner on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Rider Lagos 542.23 billion, Delta 223.442 billion, Rivers 225.592 billion, Jigawa 38.227 billion, Anambra 33.490 billion, and Yobe 26.990 billion. That's the headline from the front page banner from the Guardian newspaper. Similar headline from Daily Trust this morning. FG to sink fresh 915 billion loan into power sector. Borrowing not yielding results. Experts, discos talking. Nigeria's external debt rises to 25.7 trillion naira. Let's take that story up from the Guardian newspaper. And it goes domestic indebtedness of the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) as at the end of March 2019 it was 3.972 trillion naira. The Debt Management Office has disclosed this. The debt profile includes the more than 600 billion naira bailout fund which President Muhammadu Buhari gave to states in 2016 in the wake of falling oil prices at the international market. Now, the states had complained that they were unable to pay salaries and meet operational costs, so the president gave the states up to 600 billion naira in bailout. Although Lagos is one of the few states that never accessed the fund, it leads a pack of heavy domestic debtors with 542.231 billion naira. Rotimi, there you go. Lagos State, the most indebted state in Nigeria.
Well, many people say that the numbers don't lie. In principle, borrowing is not really the main problem.
Right.
In principle, although to be avoided wherever
if you can.
possible. Not if you can, wherever possible. But if an institution or a government borrows for capital investment and you can measure the returns over a certain period and it is cleared, then that in itself is not bad. The problem we are facing is that if you add the federal level debt of 25.7 trillion with the states, which is 4 trillion, that gives us about 30 trillion overall. That's a lot of money to borrow for what we can't see.
It is.
You know, it's a lot of money to borrow for what we can't see. You know, so the cost of governance is really, really crucial. We need to look at it again.
How do we make sure that the monies that we borrow as state governments, the states now, how do citizens make sure that those monies are utilized judiciously? I mean, the government comes and says that we borrow this money, part of it is to pay salaries because of...
So now that's an important point you are making. States said to the president they can't pay salary. President lent states money to pay salary. Federal government borrowed money and maybe some of it then lent to the states to pay salary. Federal government did not say to the states, excuse me, Mr. So and so, governors of so states, there is something in your state called security votes, which is not properly appropriated and nobody knows what on earth you are doing with it. Is paying salary not part of security? why should the security votes in many instances not clear at all what happens to it be ring-fenced no matter what? They can't pay salary, but they ring-fence security votes.
Right.
And the same states again call on federal government to send them police and soldiers. They don't invest in education, which is the first line of security. And then when things break down and insurgents and bandits take over, they call on federal government again. So, there is a systemic problem because, of course, at the federal level, there is security vote.
Right.
So, if you are doing that at federal level, you can hardly tell the state people, excuse me, what are you doing with that? We know you have it. We know you have it. And this is not talking of the free houses, guest houses, free car, free fuel, free food, special advisor to the special assistant on Kekemawa, and all these assistants. I've never seen before in my anywhere special assistant on Kekemawa, special assistant on so when Ngige says they are going to review under pressure, that they are going to review the salary of ministers, governors, and National Assembly members. That's hardly the issue, because the NAS members or the governors will tell you that their take-home pay is 300,000 or 500,000 or 700,000. It is the allowances that takes it up to 14 million a month.
Right. All sorts of allowances.
Yes.
All sorts.
And they are already in free house.
Right. There is a need to mop up and tidy up our spending in this country. At what point are we going to wake up really to look at this? And who is going to be so brave to want to make this move?
Well, it has to be citizen led, and there are brave people already doing it. There are organized civil society, budgets, SERAP, and so on and so. There are at least 20 of them you can name already doing civil society led accountability work. So the thing is for the rest of the citizens to be sharp to it, so that governors don't have this wriggle room to say, well, we couldn't even pay 18,000, now people are asking for 30,000. Really, when you have security vote of billions, and you are living large at the expense of everybody, you don't have money to pay salary.
Let's quickly move on to our next story. No plan to remove fuel subsidy. That's according to Minister. That's on the front page of Daily Trust newspaper. Front page, the Vanguard newspaper. FG has no plan to remove fuel subsidy.
No subsidy.
That's according to Timothy Siva.
I thought there was no subsidy.
He was saying that instead of removing subsidy, the federal government will fix the refineries.
I'm saying I thought there was no subsidy.
Oh, well.
We were told that the subsidy will be removed and ended 4 years ago.
Oh, well, right now it's obvious that there is subsidy.
That minister is telling us again that the refinery will be fixed.
He's saying that instead of removing subsidy, the federal government will fix the refineries so that it can lessen the burden of subsidy. He didn't say that the subsidy will now be removed after fixing the refineries. So he said it will just lessen the burden.
There are two logical contradictions there. First of all, we are told there will be no subsidy. This is not somebody said. The government said there will be no subsidy. It was a campaign pillar. So apparently there is still subsidy. Let's park that on one side. Repeated government, successive governments have told us that they will fix refinery. You see, there is one thing that happens in this country which I have had some angry people refer to as a scam. And they are not far from the truth. We have oil. It is oil from Nigeria. We have refinery. The refinery is bypassed, working or not. The oil is exported and then re-imported at global prices as refined products. And people keep wondering, look, every time I'm in any conference, in any gathering of international development experts or what, this is the one question that they ask me. How is it, some people, when they say, they are pointing at me like I'm the government. What is wrong with you people? You have oil, you export it, Then you will import the thing as refined product, and you have petroleum. What is wrong with you people? And I am not the government. Stop pointing at me.
Well, you're in Nigeria.
Yes, but this is even how outsiders see. They find it unbelievable.
Right.
That a country can do that to itself.
It is upsetting, really.
So if you are inside the country, imagine how people inside the country are feeling.
Right.
So, I mean, there is no way around it. I mean, one of those things has to happen. We have to fix the refinery, and the subsidy needs to go, because the subsidy is in place in part because we sell the oil at global price. It means that when you import the refined product,
right,
you are importing it at global rates.
But there are arguments as to whether we actually need to fix the refinery or just concession it out so that people who are interested in that business can make it work or make them work.
At this point, most Nigerians just think, just make it work. Just make it work. And look, and as for whether governments are capable of running such things,
right?
Yes, the problem is we have a special type of nepotism in Nigeria, which has ensured that there are a lot of incompetent people running things. Singapore Airlines is like Nigeria Airways. Google is your friend.
Right.
It is consistently one of the best airlines in the world. I'm lucky to have flown it twice or thrice. Is Ethiopian Air in Africa. We don't even need to go to Singapore. Ethiopian Air. If you try and sabotage, undermine anything in Ethiopia, they treat you like
the state will come down.
Oh, seriously, they treat you like a national saboteur. Singapore Telecoms is more or less like Nitel. Is one of the best performing in. So that popular narrative. No, of course, it is complete nonsense.
In business.
What you need to ensure is that only the best and most qualified people are there. Then the performance is, it's almost taken for granted.
Indeed. Let's look at this other story that is trending. Rightly so, as a matter of fact. We've reached agreements on minimum wage, KMO labor. That's front page, the Punch newspaper. Banner headline from the front page of the Nation newspaper. Federal government labor seal new minimum wage agreement. TUC, it's a win-win. The Nation for you. And from Daily Trust, minimum wage, FG labor reach agreement. Most of the papers would have put this on their front pages, but for the fact that meeting ended quite early in the morning, and you know how distribution works with the papers. But that's the latest right now.
Well, it is, from what I can gather, it's online.
That's right.
Just like you said, the printing, the distribution centers and the vendors, the actual hard copy has to go in advance.
Right.
But, let me say that I think every reasonable person will be a bit relieved that the nation did not have to face a general strike. It would have tanked the economy.
It would have been calamitous.
And the government knows it. So, despite Ngige's blustering and bluffing that they can't meet labor demand, well, actually, it's not a labor demand. It's an agreement that has already been signed into law by government. And since he is the labor and employment minister, he is the major signatory to that agreement. So he can't call it a demand. It's a law which he participated in making. And it's those kind of statements that almost led us into a strike that nobody needs. Now, an agreement to the agreement has been reached. We hope this will not be like the ASU style thing where you agree something and then 7 months later you come back and say, you are sorry, you can't meet it because you don't have 2 billion or 3 billion to put in the education sector, but you have much more money to put into recurrent expenditure, expenses. And look, I have seen amounts being budgeted in government sector for generator and fuel of up to 9 billion.
Right.
9 billion naira. If that money went into the education sector,
that's a lot.
No, it will almost fix the problem now. And it will almost certainly 9 billion for gen and fuel in government sector. Haven't they heard of solar panel before? There are countries where the government has decided that, in fact, they are taking government institutions off the grid. If you go to Bangladesh and other places like that, they are putting solar panel on libraries, local governments, so prisons.
It can free up.
Yes,
some power.
they can free up those things for industrial. I was making a presentation inside the National Assembly, not too long ago. 30-minute presentation. The light went off twice. The parliamentarians from the other countries were wondering what was happening. The Speaker of the Ghanaian Parliament was chairing the session. When the light came on, the guy was like, what happened inside your parliament? He didn't finish, it went off again. What happened to solar? If you know where the National Assembly is,
right?
If you cover the top with solar panel, we have uninterrupted. In fact, the sunlight in that location can run almost till 7 p.m.
Is it the thinking that is a problem or the will to do it?
Yeah, but it's not just a question of ignorance or lack of understanding. The thing is that when you put solar panel there, then the budgets for the fuel contracts, we no longer
be taken away from some people. All right. Because of time, let's take one headline before we go. New taxes coming. Rotimi, wait for this. New taxes coming on soft drinks. Others. Minister borders not short to generate cash. This is credited to Mrs. Ahmed. That's from the front page of the Nation newspaper. Similar headline can be found on the front page of other papers this morning. And let's look at Vanguard. FG looking at new tax on soft drinks to boost non-oil revenue as IMF recommends 15% tax on GDP ratio from 6%. That's Vanguard. And from Daily Independent, FG considers tax on soft drinks, says border closure to make neighbors comply with trade pacts.
Well, let me say again, we shouldn't do knee-jerk reaction. I've seen people saying, very soon they will be taxing the air we breathe. In principle, there is nothing wrong with more VAT or whatever it is on soft drinks, because soft drinks are not good for anybody anyway. It's sugar, it's carbonated water. It contributes to obesity, diabetes, and a whole lot of things. And it's not the first time it has been done.
Right.
I mean, when Mayor Bloomberg was, he's no longer Mayor Bloomberg. When Bloomberg was the mayor of New York, he introduced it in New York. Now, the thing is this. In developed country, you measure everything 360. You are seeing all the indicators and determinants. And they were looking at rising cases in hospitals of young children under the age of 10. Diabetes was rising. Obesity was rising. Department stores had to start doing XXX size for clothes for children under 10, because if you walked into McDonald's or one of those places and bought a fast food burger or something,
right,
you get something called unlimited refill. So it comes in what is called Orobo here, Orobo size, the first one, but it is there like a fountain. You can go and refill it 4 times. So the kids were getting sick, diabetes, obesity, and Bloomberg just said, look, who is going to... First of all, it shortens their life expectancy. Secondly, it's an unnecessary burden on the healthcare system.
I understand what you're saying. So I perfectly get you.
So it was introduced.
Is that the motive here?
No. So that's not... So what I'm saying is that in principle, people shouldn't start with, they've come again, they'll soon start taxing the air we breathe. Such things have been done. But it is the goal and the objective. So if it was said, for instance, that they are doing that and that money will go into primary health center directly, and they say, Bloomberg costed it. Bloomberg is a billionaire. He's a successful businessman.
Absolutely.
So he costed it. He said, if we do this, it will earn us X amount. And that X amount we put directly into, you can see straight line where the budget went. The problem we have here is that when we hear all these kind of things, you are not sure of the goal, you are not sure of the objective, and you cannot see a straight line where the budget is going.
Indeed. Rotimi, we have to go. We really do have to go.
Where the income is going into the budget and the outcome in terms of actual schools, buildings, teachers, and so forth. If people could see those kind of things, people really won't mind.
Indeed. We have to go now. That's the much we can take on the program from the front pages. Okay, I'll just take a few messages on Facebook. If we can have patriotic people in press like Rotimi, this country will move further. That's coming from Igwe Prince. Jeremiah Omuya said, the government of this country is not sincere to its citizens. May God bless Nigeria. That's Jeremiah. Bolaon Akimbami says, congratulations to TUC. Hope the minimum wage issue is now for real. Okay, that's what we can take right now because we need to go. When we return, we'll be having an important conversation. Quite important because we'll be looking at women taking charge of their reproductive health. It's our partnership with Wale Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism. We'll be having the journalists who did the story speak to us on the program this morning, and of course some other resource persons, 2 of them by the way. I'll be letting you know who they are and what they're here for when we return after this break. Rotimi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, stay with us. We're back in a moment.